Hello fellow AFOLs and welcome to Long's Bricks. Today we are taking a look at LEGO Marvel Set 76309, Spider-Man vs. Venom Muscle Car. It has 254 pieces and retails for about $29.99. So I was kind of intrigued by this one. I mean, it's another one of these Marvel car sets. These characters don't typically drive cars around as we see in the comics and whatnot. They have their own means of conveyance. But it intrigued me because it reminded me of this, like, Marvel Transformer crossover figure I used to have probably about 15 years ago at this point, where Venom transformed into a muscle car that looked very similar to this, and so it kind of gave me like a nostalgic remembrance there, and so I wanted to check it out. Also, I'm really excited. Of course, it comes with Spider-Man and Venom. These minifigures are not new. We've seen them several times, but we have Spider-Woman here, and I think this is the first time we're getting this version of Spider-Woman. This is Julia Carpenter. This is the second character in the Marvel Universe to go by Spider-Woman, the first being Jessica Drew. She was portrayed by Sydney Sweeney in the Madam Web movie, if anyone saw that. I think she wore the costume in like not a flashback, but like a glimpse of the future kind of a thing for like 5 seconds. I don't even think she was actually Spider-Woman in that movie, and for some reason the character was called Julia Cornwall. I don't know, it's supposed to be Julia Carpenter. It's kind of funny though, because now in the comics, this character is Madam Web. She's taken over for the previous Madam Web and actually is Madam Web in the comics now. But I always remember from the 90s Iron Man cartoon. That's where I remember seeing this version of Spider-Woman. But yeah, very excited to check this out. So packaging, pretty standard here. You know, we have Lego Marvel has the Spider-Man like cut out of it over here on the side. And you can see we have the car, we have Spider-Man and Spider-Woman up here. It drags like a little vault, I guess, like he just robbed a bank, I guess, because that's what Venom does. In any case, here is the Spider-Woman minifigure up here on the top. Not really much going on the bottom or the sides of the box. And then over here on the back, kind of a similar looking thing. They show this popping up, but there's not really like a feature for that. Like, I'll show it off later on, but anyway, it's not that exciting. But then you have the little vault here. You have Spider-Man trying to catch Venom with this new giant web piece that they're always throwing in now. So yeah, kind of a cool little display there on the back. But let's go ahead and take a look at the full set. Actually, we'll start with the minifigures first. We'll start off first with our Venom minifigure. This is nothing new. Like I said, we've seen this so many times before. He has this little backpack piece so you can clip these tentacles to it. I don't know. They're always trying to give Venom tentacles, and I understand he's a symbiote, but I feel like in the comics, and maybe I'm wrong, I haven't read every single comic ever, obviously, but tentacles seems like more of a Carnage thing. I feel like because the suit was with Peter for so long, it mostly uses webbing the way Peter used to, but I don't know. I guess sometimes he does use strands of the symbiote, but I feel like he doesn't really have these crazy tentacles all the time, but Lego's always trying to give him these giant backpack tentacle things. I think just to try to make the figure more interesting, because otherwise it's pretty boring. So removing the backpack, I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks good. I mean, the face, I think the printing on the face looks good. The printing on the front and the back does look good. It looks like Venom. He's not a character that has like wild designs. Like, they wouldn't need to print anything on the legs or the arms. You know, if they wanted to give him the little white squares on the hands, but I don't think I've ever seen printing on minifigure hands. I could be wrong about that. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know what I really expect from them. It's just at this point, I've probably got about 10 of this figure, and it's just the same every single time. Again, I don't really know what I'm looking for from them, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, okay, great, I have another one of these. But it's a good-looking minifigure. Up next, we have Spider-Man. Kind of the same thing here. I mean, again, it's not a bad-looking minifigure. I would love it to have dual-molded legs, so he had the red boots. But other than that, I think they've done a pretty good job with the printing on the arms and the back and the front and the head and everything. But it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's just Spider-Man, again. I understand why he's included again, but you've probably got 10 to 15 of this at this point from all the various sets and everything. He's got those, like, web blaster pieces that they also use sometimes for Iron Man. You know, it's Spider-Man. Nothing really exciting to talk about, but, you know, it's a decent-looking minifigure. I would love the dual-molded legs for the red boots, but I guess that costs extra. But now getting to the most exciting minifigure in this set, we have Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter. They actually did give her the dual-molded legs, which is really nice. I was really excited about that. And then the legs on my copy are really loose, which is definitely a bummer. I'm trying to reach out to them to see if maybe I can get another set of legs because it's just crazy loose. But she does look good. She has a costume very similar to Venom's, you know, with the white spider there on the front. But definitely looks very good. I'm going to go ahead and just remove her hairpiece so you can see her alternate face. So she's got kind of like an angry face on there. And then on this side, she's got kind of a smiling face. But you can also see the back there. Again, very similar to Venom's if we just kind of bring his in quick for a comparison. You can see that it is different, but very similar. And you can also see how she kind of has like the indentations for the female figure there on the side of the minifigure. But yeah, looks really, really good. Really happy with this. Just wish the legs on mine weren't very loose. So taking a look at the bulk of the set now, of course, you have the car, and then you have this little piece here. I'm just going to take this off. It's a little vault. Not really anything super exciting about this. It can open, and you can put gold inside there. The gold is actually inside the car. I'll show that off in a minute, but you can put it inside here if you would prefer. And then it just has this little chain that you can hook onto the car right here. You'll also notice I'm missing a piece. So there's this piece here, as you can see, that kind of gives the contour, and it is everywhere else, but they shorted me one, so I've reached out to them for that as well. But there should be another piece. I guess it would actually be this piece and then popped on here, so I'm waiting for that. But yeah, I got shorted a piece there. It happens. What are you going to do? But I do overall like the look of this. I like the big spoiler. I think that's really cool. Obviously, I like the Venom symbol here on the front. Now, as they show on the box, this can pop off. It's not, you know, put on very tightly, but there's no mechanism. They make it seem like, you know, if you crash it or something, something inside is going to pop it off. But no, you just have to lift it off yourself, and you can see the engine piece there, which they've then kind of extended the exhaust here out the front. So you have a little ingot piece there in silver, and then this just pops on. But yeah, detailing here on the front, you know, for the grill, I think is good. You got the headlights. I do like the way they've built the exhaust here on the front. That does look pretty good. Wheels spin very nicely. You have two stud shooters here, decently integrated. I mean, if you didn't want these on here, you could easily pop these off if you wanted to kind of streamline the look, and then you'd, I don't know, I guess you could try if I just take this off and maybe pop this on like this. That might not look super terrible. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look the best, and if you have your own pieces, you could come up with a better solution. But if you don't like the look of the giant stud shooters there on the side of the car, honestly, I don't mind them. I think it looks okay. I feel like they're decently integrated. They're not super bulky like on the front or anything like that. I'm kind of okay with where they are. And of course, you know, they work as usual. I actually can find where that went. There we go. Pop that back in. So there's no problem there. You can lift off this whole section here. So this is all connected as one section. And then you can see where you can place Venom down inside. And then there's kind of this just shelf area where they suggest you put the gold. And it just kind of rattles around because it's a pretty huge area. But then you can also take the gold and put it inside. So if he wants to drag the vault along, if he wants to just steal the gold out of the vault, put it in his car and make a faster getaway, there you go. But we can take Venom and put him inside here. You can see he fits down right in there. And then he's ready to go. As for the interior, there's not a lot going on here. You have a steering wheel, and then you have two of these dials that are exactly the same, one on each side, and that's pretty much it for the interior of the car. There's not really any dashboards or anything else going on there. It's just those two dials, speedometers, I guess they would be. And then you just pop this back on here, and you're good to go. You can see him driving inside. Looks pretty good. So it's a cool car. Again, I don't really know why Venom needs a car. Maybe if he's taking a long journey where there's not a lot of trees or things he can swing from, I guess he might need a car. It's a cool little build. I think it's neat, you know. Works well, rolls nicely. I like the design of it. I like that the spoiler's white, you know, to kind of give a little bit more of his color scheme and not just all in black. I think that's kind of cool. The other thing you can do, if you have the backpack, you can detach the like tentacle pieces, and then you can pop them on back here. So the directions have you pop these on here, and then if you want to put some more, and I guess it kind of looks like flames coming out or something propelling him forward, but I don't know. Doesn't do anything for me personally, but if you like the look of that, they do show off attaching those on there. Or maybe it's just, a storage place that way if you want. Obviously, you can't use the backpack. Actually, he probably could. If you take the tentacles off. Obviously, you'd have to take the tentacles off. But I think if you take all the tentacles off, he could still sit in here with the backpack on. I think they've built in enough room. Let's test it. Yeah, so there you go. So that way you could, technically you could probably put some of the smaller tentacles in the little shelf area, but this way you could take all the tentacles off, store them here, and he could still wear the harness piece on his body and still fit inside the car, no problem. And that way you'd have storage for everything and wouldn't have to put that off to the side. The other thing I haven't really showed off is another one of these web pieces. We saw this with the Spider-Man mech. Not really much to talk about here. They give you the little gripping clear piece here. Whoop, as I fling it across the room. There we go. So you have the little clear gripping piece there with just this little piece. And then this just pegs in. And that way, either of the spider-themed heroes can go ahead and grab onto that. And then they say that it's supposed to like close up and peg into itself. Which I think is like, I'm looking at this. I guess they want me to cross this over this way. Because I see how these go like this. And that makes total sense. But then you would think these should be switched so that from across from everything is the opposite. But I guess they want me to cross it over like this. And then I guess maybe, I don't know. It doesn't work that well in my opinion. It's a neat idea, and I like that you can kind of capture someone. But the problem is, even if I take all this stuff out of his hands, by the time I get someone in here, they're taking up a lot of space, and getting this to wrap around them, it's a little difficult. Not impossible. But yeah, you could grab someone, which again, it's kind of a cool idea. I think the execution could have been a little better. But, it is out of that kind of softer plastic, so you can get it to move around. It's malleable. You can get it to close around. I guess I just don't understand why this doesn't... Like, I would just do this and connect these two together, but they're the same, so the connections should be different like they are here. I guess they just expect me to crisscross, which you can do. Like I said, it's malleable enough that you can. So, it's all right. But that's pretty much it for the set. I think the car's kind of neat. I think this vault it's fine. The inclusion doesn't really add a lot of value to the set for me. But I guess he's supposed to drag it along behind the car, which I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I feel like maybe if he had to like remove it from the bank before he could get to it, but that also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, I don't know. I think the minifigures are decent. I mean, Spider-Man and Venom are run-of-the-mill, nothing new or exciting there. If you don't have them, then great. It's a great way to get a lot of core characters. But I think a lot of people, if they're interested in this set, it's going to be for Spider-Woman. And hopefully there's, like I said, the legs on mine are just dreadfully loose. I mean, that's really bad. Like, I don't even have to really touch it. And you can see how loose it is. So hopefully yours will be better. I mean, that's the main reason I was excited for this, because I definitely wanted this minifigure, and I think that's the reason a lot of people will be picking this setup. But hopefully you get a better set of legs than mine, because mine are loose. And then, of course, the hairpiece is nothing new. But I think it works. I think it fits for her. I don't have a problem with that. So, yeah, at the end of the day... is it worth the full $30? Probably. I don't think it's really in a ridiculously overpriced set or anything like that. I think the price per piece count, if that's something you go by, is reasonable. I don't think it's completely, out of left field or severely overpriced. The minifigure that's included, like I said, in Spider-Woman is really great. Spider-Man and Venom, if you've been collecting Marvel Legos for any amount of time, you probably have those already, so that's not really much of a draw. So it does feel a little bit like one new minifigure is locked to this $30 set. Maybe it's something that if you wait till it goes 20% off, then you'll be down to $24. Not really that big of a deal, but I don't think... It's hard to articulate. I don't think it's so exciting that you need to run out and buy it immediately, but I don't think you'll be severely disappointed if you do pick it up. I think there are definitely some merits here, but it's not one that I think would be at the top of your list if you're on a budget. Let's put it that way. So it's a nice, reasonably priced set. I just don't know how much collectors will care about what's included because of the nature of how available most of it is otherwise, if that makes sense. But I think the Spider-Woman minifigure is pretty good, as long as you get one that's not loose. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.